All right, folks, we're going to be working now instead of transitions. We're taking a really close look at embedded quotes. Okay, two of the ways that we're really focusing on creating formal writing, one is with better transitions and transitional phrases. The second is with you embedding quotes. You find quotes, you may put them in your work, but you need to learn to embed them. So in the My Notes column, I want you to write down the following. How to embed quotes correctly. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to add to coherence, and it's also going to improve your formal writing style. So if you get tripped up by any of this information today, this is all you need to remember, okay, is that you're learning why we should embed quotes. It adds to our formal writing style. It makes coherence happen. So again, it's adding coherence, improving formal writing style. All right, let's go ahead and talk about, at the top of the page, the subheading, providing support for a claim. So AJ, can you read underneath that subheading for us?
The wording themselves can be paraphrased or directed forward, depending on the writer's purpose and intended scope. Examine the difference between a paraphrase and an embedded quotation.
Okay, so both of these items are going to have the exact same content. It's just going to be expressed differently. So, could you please read that now, just the paraphrase for us?
Early in the short clause reveals that she knows she will hurt her and she is true to herself.
Okay, so here's the understanding of the sentence. Okay, the content of the sentence is saying, hey, if she reveals who she is, she's going to end up hurting her family. So we got to make sure that we understand that's what's happening in the paraphrase. The embedded quote is going to take that same information but showcase it differently. So Jordan, can you read the embedded quotation for us?
Early in the story, long ago to appear, and she says, now I see that I will truly see myself. I would break my family for it. Note that an embedded quotation shows more detail, precise knowledge of the text.
Okay, so what is the embedded quote doing that's slightly different? It's more detailed. It's giving me precise knowledge from the text. So you really, really understand this text if you are giving a embedded quote. If you don't really understand the text that much, you might paraphrase it. But if you really get it, you're going to make sure that you use an embedded quotation. I want you to go ahead and highlight in the graphic organizer below the two column headings. A direct quotation should not and a direct quotation should. You're going to highlight that up. And we're going to go ahead and circle should not versus should. I'm not going to read the entire graphic organizer to you. That's kind of pointless. You can do it by yourself. But I'm going to point out one key piece from each column. So absolutely, a direct quotation should not stand alone. A direct quotation should never be a sentence by itself. So in the embedded quotation, and we'll show a little bit more of that in a moment, the actual quote is hidden within more sentence structure. It's not standing by itself. Okay, and what a direct quotation really should do, this is probably the most important piece of information. The idea that's being presented is thought-provoking. It's making the reader really go, I like that. I like what they're doing there. I understand their point to a T. I really dig that. Okay, so we've got this information, and we're going to take it a step further. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a different page here. So you're going to see a different page show up on the screen, but guys, it's the exact same one that's in front of you. It's just a different screenshot. Now we're going to focus on this bottom portion. Okay, this bottom portion, let's scooch it over a little bit. This bottom portion, we're going to title it something differently. Let me change this up real quick. how to make an embedded quote. That's you. For those of you that are math wizards, you understand it, you like it, consider this your formula. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that as well. I can't really see that blue. Okay, embedding the quote, it's more than just the quote itself. There's 4 parts to it. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to add all of these pieces together in order to get the embedded quote. So we're going to write at the bottom, just remind ourselves, embedded quote equals 4 parts. So it's a sentence that has 4 parts associated with it. Am I going to require you to memorize this? Nope. But you need to know what these 4 parts are so you can make it work yourself. This is something you want to do so you have formal writing style. All right, so the first part is the transition. Okay, the transition is what's going to actually open up this embedded quote. Your sentence will never start with a quote. It'll end with it. So in the example, they bolded the transition for you. They gave a transitional phrase. Make sure you guys are highlighting what's on the screen. Some of you aren't looking at it, so you don't know what I'm talking about. So this is the first part of an embedded quote sentence. The second part is something called the lead-in. Okay, for you, the lead-in, this is the commentary to a degree. Okay, you're explaining to me why this quote is important and why it connects to your thought, even before I know what in the world your quote is. So my first part of the sentence is the transition. My second part of the sentence is the lead-in. The third part is the actual quote. And the final part is the citation. Where did the quote come from? So to use a quote correctly, you will have a sentence that contains 4 separate pieces, 4 of them. Okay, on page 77, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I actually want you to cross out number 2. Just cross it out because I'm going to have you do something differently. That paragraph Mulan, it might be tricky for you because you can't make a connection with it. You don't really understand necessarily what's happening there. So we're going to do something different, and I do want you to have number 2 crossed out. I'm going to change the screen here.